Hey everybody, good morning. Looks like we got Don, Rob, Goose, Rex, Arturo, Sergio, John, Donald, Mark, Dan, Frank, Diane, Stephen, JB, General Rush, good to see you, sir, as always. Svenborn, Kevin, Darren, all my friends, David and Ted, Rongamer, Vixen, Tez. Man, Rongamer, did you see that Foundation series? Cybertrucks, if you buy one today or tomorrow, free lifetime supercharging. I was like, what? That was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Anyway, you just gotta try to move those Cybertrucks Foundation series. Anyway, no more beast models, just the regular ones. So, all right. Yeah. And my dad was like, my dad was considering, he was like, how many times would you have to charge that to make it worth it? And we were doing the math. It's kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, I have one for trips and one for just rips. One for trips and one for rips. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's another holiday week. Unfortunately, more grind. Already not so no bueno on the charts this morning. We're right at levels that aren't giving me the warm fuzzy. Not feeling it, and something tried to get me this weekend. Got a little gruff in my voice. Allergies definitely making my nose run down my throat. It just kind of sucks. So I'll talk as long as I can talk this morning. The list is pretty long, but it's mostly decliners. There's just a few gainers, and like I said, I'll talk till my voice starts getting still have a hard time. Hopefully, I won't sneeze or cough, but we'll see what we can do. Allergies trying to get me. So, all right. King Apple. That's kind of what I want to talk about. Look at this crazy chart somebody made for me right here. Switch over. Look at this crazy chart here. And gosh dang it. Everybody always messaging me from the company right when I go live. Yeah. This goes all the way back to the 80s. This is the price to sales ratio. I always talk about price to sales, right? You can't fake sales. Can't fake sales. Right now, we're sitting at an all-time high, basically, on Apple price to sales ratio. That's pretty wild right there. Highest it's ever been. Now, it's not crazy levels. Things over 20, that's where over 20 starts being crazy. Like, think about it. It's going to take you 20 years of all your sales to cover the price of your stock. Right now, Apple, 10 years. 10 years of all their sales to cover the price of their stock. That's still pretty crazy. Pretty crazy right there. And, well, as we look at Apple right here, this was also crazy. Look at this. Hadn't done this in a long time. Look at that. 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That little doji in there, I guess, was red, maybe. Huh? Looks like 8 weeks in a row. Green candles. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right over here. Got a red week. Then a little push higher earlier in the year. Apple just doesn't typically make big, long runs, but without getting a red one. We usually get a couple red ones in there, a couple red weeks, but this one just kept grinding. Grind, right up into the end of the year. Be very, very careful here. That could top out, right? That was right past the targets. Retest would be the right down here. Retest would be a normal expectation before we went up here. But we could come up here and hit, and then we do that. Bigger correction probably in store right there. So be careful out there. Be careful. Just kind of crazy, though. Kind of crazy. So I would watch out for retrace. Things are looking a little... It's on the biggest decliners list, even. So, yeah, I don't know. Yes, sir. Like I was talking about when I first started talking, we're at the caution level I drew on Friday. We kind of... This starts concerning me here because look, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 down. Huh. That's usually either a wave 1 or an A wave. One or the other. I don't know which one it is. Typically, we'll see 3-wave bounce from here, back to a 618 retrace. This drop from over here to right here. That can be a 2 or a B. Don't really care which, because the next wave is likely to be strong and take us to a lower low. Because how deep this went right here. It's going to be either a 3 or a C. So this is cautionary. Looks like we're going to get the bigger flush in here. Can definitely take us right back down to the bottom where we were right before basically Christmas Eve, right? Nobody really wants that, but that's what it's looking like. We're shaping up to do. Oh, look at that. I got that so close. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. So we may do a 3-wave rally up to there and then flush on down. I'll be careful. This looks like we're getting a end of the year flush out here. Today, tomorrow, possibly into later in the week. We do have closed market on Wednesday for the new year. So last 2 trading days, if you need tax losses or whatever junk to offset taxes, offset gains, you got today and tomorrow to book it. And then game over. Game over into the new year. So all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Doesn't matter what you're doing, there's a substantial risk of losing your money. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. So that means no stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. All right. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. That's not me. If you need one, I got some pretty good guys, but you can talk to me in the background. They're willing to help. So, all right. Am I looking at protection? Not really. Not really. Not at this point. Well, this could develop into something bigger and more sinister. I mean, got this bigger support zone right down here. I don't like the trade downside. I don't see this being a big flush where downside's hard to make money. Now, if you have these levels down here that you're expecting to hit and you buy, you can ride back up. And we may go down to this level right here. What is that level? Dun, 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 dun. Zoom her up, buttercup. Look right there. Daily roadmap line. This would be the point where you would want to get some long. There's a high probability we're going higher, new highs from here. Longer term, several month trade. If you're hunting for getting long on S&P, maybe some SPXL, something like that. What is it, UUP or something like that? No, UPRO. Come on now. Oh, dun dun dun. Ultra Pro, SPXL. So if we hit these downside targets here, it's kind of the same on all the charts. So wild. I'll probably keep riding my TQQQ. Probably keep riding it. No big deal. I bought plenty of time. I think after we get here, ride or die, baby. Excuse me. I'll try not to cough and blow everybody up. Alrighty. S5TW. We don't typically hang out down here for a long time. It's already 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days, 6 days, 7 day. Working on 8 days down here. Looking back at the history here, what is this? This is S&P 500 stocks below, or, you know, when we're looking at it down here, we're below the 20 day. You know, most of them are below. This is the actual thing is the measurement is above. So 14% are above, which means 85.5% are below the 20 day. Inverse the math. We don't typically hang out down here like a long time. You see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 days. And wasn't really consistent. This one over here lasted a little longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10 or 11 days. This one choppy for a little while, but we had some pops in there. So we don't typically last a long time. Just kind of run it over here. That was about 19 bars. Last about 25 calendar days. So right now, we're just kind of grinding this. How long can we make it last? It's actually 6 bars, 9 days. 7 if you count the one that touched the top. 8 if you count today, which is what I was counting. Because we'll be down here with the pullback. Stocks about their 50 day. This looks like we're going to push on down. The flush out today, potentially push on down here. So we might set this up for a reversal here. S5TH holding up pretty well. We might see this flush a little lower. Down in this zone. USO. Go look at that in a minute. Yes. Continue to be soft. Like I said, that's kind of gave away the expectation already this morning. I don't have a bonus trade because I just not getting anything super awesome in this low volume environment. We're going to have more low volume all week. If you're expecting to make big, awesome trades this week, you need to dial back in your expectations for this week. While we may get some flush outs, it's going to be hard trading. Hard trading. So I kind of expect us to find some support here, rally up, and then probably roll on down. That's kind of what I expect to happen. Don't get stuck in the chop. NQ, kind of setting this up same way. This is pushing down into the bottom. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not good. And this could be part of the A, B. This could be setting up a C wave that's pretty big. ES, the same situation here. Yeah, this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. We could get a big flush right down to that 5,600 even. I had it on the chart for a while. You may have thought I was crazy. Talking about the flush out before the inauguration. Here you go. We're doing it. We're doing the thing I said we might do. Setting it up. It's kind of wild when this all comes together. Hey, sometimes I get lucky on these things. Kind of blows my mind a little bit. I know a lot of people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. We're not going to flush out before the inauguration. Well, here it comes. Don't always like being right. And this looks like we're going to get continuation. Yep. Russell, man, couldn't even get that rally right there. Now this would be an interesting one right here. If we hold and bounced up here. That'd be interesting. I don't think we can do that, but this may flush on down too. This may come on down here before it bounces. Oil, testing the top of the trend line. Next resistance at the roadmap line for the daily, right there. If we can break above that, break out. Now USO is firing off. Boy, that's choppy. Woo. Choppy. I would be very careful getting my exposure in here. Lower highs. That high, that low. If we can get back above 77, this might be able to break on out, but we definitely have that resistance right there at 79. I'm still long UCO out to 2026. I never closed it. I'm looking for this pop right up here. Right up in that zone, and then maybe continuation higher. This has definitely been a grind. Can you see that pop right to that 618, that bigger drop? We'll see. We'll see what happens. GC. That flush out I was talking about, starting to look like it might happen. We can see this drop pretty quickly right down in here. Pretty quickly. This is all setting up for a giant flush out. I think we're going to get a liquidation event. Look at this Bitcoin right here. Really looks like it's set up to come right down here. Now, remember, anything lower than that right there can wrap this baby up. That low right there, being the one to watch. Anything lower than that, this correction can be finished. But that high, that low, that high, right down in here would be the ideal spot. Let's back to that A, B, C. Right down there. And guess what? We might hit daily roadmap line. Bought a few shares of this just to see what happens. Not much. We're just talking about a few shares, literally a few shares. And when I say a few shares, I mean a few shares. Just interested to see how well this reacts. This is a 1x bear on crypto, so it's not leveraged. If we're going to flush crypto. Maybe we pop up back in this zone. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. So let's just train this to see if it see if it responds to Bitcoin going down. Ether holding up pretty well, but we came up shy of actually hitting the roadmap line. First, this is starting to look like 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we get a 5 down, this is what kind of scares me, is this doesn't look done on the downside. So we've got this move down, this retrace, this move down, stronger retrace. If we get another move down, that's 5 down, then we're probably going to do a 3 wave, retrace to a 618, and then a bigger flush on Ethereum. Not what I want to see setting up right here. Not at all. So Ethereum may not perform for a while. So if you got leverage or anything exposed on that, be very, very careful. Know where your exit door is. Parachute handle. This whole flush out could go pretty quickly, and we could turn and burn it pretty quick off of that. Dollar just churning right here. Churning. 109 being the kind of like the highest I kind of expected to go. That's where the 618 level is for the whole big drop. Got started back way over here. Right here in 22. That high to that low, that 618, 109 basically. Now we could push it on up to 110, 111. Possible with how long this has been grinding. Push extremes a little bit, push on up in this zone, the top of this box over here that I had drawn years ago. Top of that box. And likely we're going to get continuation lower. This is all corrective and overlapping and nasty, and we're probably going to go lower. At least get something lower than this 99 area to finish this up. Then our global liquidity indicator, reversing off of the resistance. Resistance going higher, reversing off of it. We may push back to the bottom of the box pretty quickly. And like I said, if we get below the bottom of the box, watch out for a bigger liquidation event in the market. All right. It's kind of the normal bit there. Now, I pull everything. I use a tool. I go pull everything in the market moving up $2 or more, put it on the gainers list, down $2 or more in the pre-market, and put it on the decliners list. The gainers list was, well, about a dozen tickers there. Pretty short. The decliners list is quite extensive today. So buckle up, grab your cup of coffee, a little refresh, and let's jump into it, shall we? Got my monster. Oil. Did I not say this might pop? Let's see. G1, exclamation points. Boom, right back up. Beautiful. So there's this geopolitical thing going on with gas right now. If you think it's going to ramp out, it might. Got higher resistance at 420 right there. Even bigger resistance up here at 467. But I'm not sure I would expect much more than that right now. Not sure I would expect much more than that 450, 460. It's possible we get up to 560, but this is probably going to play out. Like, how fast can it get up here and then come back to the roadmap line? Be careful getting sucked into this one too much. Not sure this is where you want to play. UNG had a nice pop too. Not bad. Just be careful. Be careful. Those are probably no FOMO, right? Like you already missed that pop. So be careful. If you get FOMO and you get into it and you're like, well, it just went back down. Guess what? the market did the exact thing it's good at doing. IPX, that's just going exponential. How high can she go? Probably come on up to 45, 50 up here, and then probably get a nice retrace off of that. Of course, it can get a nice retrace now, so danger. Don't get sucked in. VVX. I'm not even sure what the heck this is. It's just a lot of chop. Chop, 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 chop. I personally would not get involved in this. Look, there's no trend. I mean, it's kind of a channel-y looking thing going here, but this is not my cup of tea. Because, golly. So, to illustrate a point, I go over this several times lately. We get a high and we get a low, and then you make a new high and a new low. Then the next high, so you skip one, right? Skip one, then look at this one. This high and this low. This low right here was lower than that high back here. So it overlapped all this stuff in the middle. That's what, when I talk about being choppy and overlapping, that's what I'm talking about right there. And then, again, we take this high, this low, we got one in between that didn't really do anything. Then we get a new high up here that's higher. And then we get a new low, and yet again, it overlaps. That's not clean price action. All right, that's corrective in nature. It's nasty and gnarly and makes it very hard to try to predict where it's going next. So that kind of stuff's just like on my don't trade it list. Don't want to lose money, so don't trade it. I mean, that's kind of the way this works. And a lot of people don't. When you start understanding price action and just staying away from the crap that's likely to lose you money, just you can do a lot better. Now, that was potentially 5 up, but again, look. That high, low, high. You skip a high and a low, look at that. That low, that high, overlappy on the way down, overlapping up, overlapping down. Just, golly. So nasty. So nasty. So all looks corrective. Probably going to go on down for VeriSign. Move down in this zone would be what I would expect. That high, that low, bounce off of that 618 retrace right there, push down, maybe something like that. Wrap it up. AMIX, that's medical specialty stuff, reverse split. It's basically a giant dumpster fire. Stay the fudge away. UNG we already talked about. This is a declining asset. This one and Boyle, both declining assets. Be freaking careful. Cold, not so much a declining asset, but it is dropping right now since it's ultra short natural gas. When natural gas finds a bottom, which maybe when cold gets down here, you can pick up some cold and ride it back up because it's probably going to do it. And VXX. Get a little volatility in the market, huh, VIX? VXX, another declining asset. VIX, get another little pop here. We may go higher. That interesting. If I was going to buy some protection, this might be what I bought. We might get a spike up in this zone right here. If we get that bigger flush out in the market, we could see something like that. Possibly even up to there. gravel in my throat. Let's see. EXE. A lot of choppy sideways. That high, that low. 112. Fixie. Another declining asset. Be careful. Could see a pop, but be careful. If you can afford UVIX, this one may outperform greatly. Even with shares, you can see a nice gain riding from 22 to whatever we might pop to. INTZ. Another dumpster fire. Reverse split hiding over here. Nasty. EQT. Man. That might pop on up. This high, this low. We could see this push on out at this point. Not feeling the most confident in it, but rallying up to 55. About a 25% upside. MSTZ. 2x inverse MSTR daily. So if you think MSTR is going to flush, this one might get you some money. It did reverse split. 1 for 20. Not sure it's got the response going here. MSTR looking like we're going to come down to... Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to be right again, and we're going to get the roadmap line touch. Nasty. MSTX, probably going to come back down to 20. MSTU. MSTU. And probably going to come back down to... Wow. That one's... I was like, those aren't the right prices. It did a 10 for 1. This might have to... This might have to reverse split just to keep going. It's crazy. All right. FNGU. It really looks like it wants to finish up this retrace. 1, 2, 3. Back down in this 540, 550, 540, 520 area. Somewhere right there. MSTR. Like I said, back to the roadmap line. Looks like what we're doing. Netflix. Now, difficult. Are we just going to do this and then go up again? Or are we going to actually come back and visit the roadmap line? Because we haven't been there since back here in August. Before that, back here in October. So if we get a bigger market flush out, this could come down pretty quickly. Tesla. Hanging in here, but let's take a look here. Yeah. So we've got this first move down. We've got the retrace. Could push us right down here. Right back to, that'd be a full retest of those prior high resistance levels. That's what it could do. And that makes it very proportional. The first move down, A wave. Second move, B wave. And the C wave. ASML, I still think this is coming down to 600. Still. App, potential to retrace. Cold, probably pushing lower low. Maybe down to 23. Meta. Hasn't been down the roadmap line since August, and if we do a bigger market flush, we're probably going to do that. PTIR. I was warning that we may see this retrace back down quite a bit. So watch out for breaking below this level. We may come down here on leverage PLTR. Gave like an upside target up here. This seems to be struggling, and we may see this flush down to the roadmap line. The roadmap line. Sorry. Roadmap line hanging out right there, which is about a 40% downside. So PTIR. Still the 80%. And that could take us back down to 26. Roughly. Maybe like, holy bananas, that's a big decline. Yeah, you betcha. High flyers are going to get hit the hardest when we do a big correction. Be careful. Coin, probably coming back to the roadmap line. If we do have that 618 retrace at 224, just below that. So somewhere in this neighborhood, and we didn't do this over here, so just let's remove these off of here. This is, I got a lot of stuff on here I don't want to really remove, but clean this up. So this low right here, this high right there, and because the numbers are in the way, we have to move it. So we've got this potential retrace zone right here. Top of that zone being the roadmap line. I kind of expect it to retrace like that. If we can hold there, we set up a much bigger upside potential. Maybe something really nice. Something real nice, Clark. Talking about something up in here. Leverage coin, probably going to go on down back to this box. Somewhere around 28. GEV. Been warning about this. Seems we hit a brick wall. We break below that, probably coming back down pretty violently. Go visit the roadmap line, possibly even this box down here. QQQ. Daily roadmap line. Looks like it's coming into play. That high, that low, that high. Yep. Coming into play right over here. AVGO. Watch out, that can retrace pretty good. That high, that low, that high. Be like right in there. Back in that 200 area, SPY. I'm telling you, all these charts looking like that's what we're doing. IVV. Back to the roadmap line. AXSM. That's it's usually not how we conclude a move, but this might flush down further. BA. Really want to see this hold the roadmap line. This is a key. I talked about it right here. I wanted to see this rally up. and retrace. This is a beautiful thing to watch right here. If we can hold this area, turn back higher, now is the time. Gotta do that. And that'll be the time, and lock it up for as long as you possibly can. Shares would be a great option. Option for BA long term. GS, now you could do a long term synthetic out to 2027, but I think it's gonna take longer than that to really play out in full. Goldman Sachs looks like it wants to come down, even though we usually start seeing rotation into financials. So we may get this flush this week. We may see this flush in the markets, even into financials, and then we see money quickly flow back in ahead of financial earnings for JPM, BAC, and BAD, BAC, MS, GS. And SPXL probably coming on down. If SPX hits that roadmap line, that target area, shares on this wouldn't be a bad idea aggressively. If we're starting to break down further and just not bounce, we're at least going to do a B wave on S&P 500. So you can make some money going into the leverage stuff. So even if this is just the first move down, we just do a 618 retrace off of this. Probably at least going to rally from here back up like that. That can make you some pretty good money. If we're going further down, that'll be what it looks like. So that'll be the decision point if you get long at the roadmap line. Now we could extend it on up and get some banging upside targets too. So that'll be what you have to keep in mind. So if you chase it with this, this may outperform a little bit to the downside here. May get something on further down. Let's clean this up. That high, that low, that high. Yeah, we could come on down. Possibly even down to here. Then that retrace would look something like this. Let's just say it gets you from 147 up to like 170. A $30 upside, that's pretty good. Pretty good. VU, you can play it that way. You can play it with SPY. Pick your weapon of choice. Like I said, UPRO will be another one you could do. RO, not SO, UPRO. This one also. That move, that move, that move. We may get down to 70. It's quite a bit cheaper than SPXL. Let's just go with 77. So you can play it from there back up to that level right there. 77 and 90. That's pretty fair. Pretty fair. Don't think I'd trade it with options, but shares would be a really nice, real nice. CRWD looks like it's going to flush on down to the roadmap line. MSTX looks like it's going to flush on down. Reddit. High flying, watch out. I speculated we may see it retrace back down in here. Then we could bounce and go higher or break on down. So be careful. Reddit may be nearing the played out. The reason I'm so cautious, this is one move, two moves, three moves. And if it did this and holds above, it can hold anywhere above this high right there and get continuation higher. If we start overlapping, that's why there's a giant blue line. This is probably going lower low than we had back here. But like, those are big numbers on Reddit. You betcha. You betcha. Their price to sales, hanging out at 10. Not too crazy, but just be careful out there. QMCO. Quantum stuff. Be careful. I'm afraid the reality of quantum is going to come back in to the market and flush these back down. So be careful chasing quantum. I know several other gurus are getting hyped up on it. Be careful. Reverse splits are hiding in here. These are crap companies. It's not that you're not going to have a quantum desktop, right? That's just not going to happen. Like, that's not the way that works. These are going to be specialized computers. They're not general purpose, like suddenly make everything you do faster. You're not going to do Excel faster with a quantum computer. You're not going to browse the web faster with a quantum computer. They're very specialized hardware for specialized problems that are difficult to solve with general purpose. And AI is not the application. So I don't know who's pushing that narrative that quantum makes AI better. There are some applications for it in AI, but that's not the way our current AI infrastructure is created. It's just not written and created to take advantage of quantum computers because they don't exist. And it's not like you get some giant speed up by flipping it over. You'd have to come up with a whole new architecture to take advantage of quantum. And it's not the application. Cracking encryption is the application. And that has widespread implications across cryptocurrency. If you crack cryptography. And that's why there's a race. Governments want to be the first one to own the technology to be able to crack everybody else's encryption. And worldwide, we're seeing a lot of information being stolen that's encrypted with the idea and the thought that later on we can decrypt it when these quantum computers come online. So we're seeing massive worldwide data theft of encrypted data because we're thinking that we can decrypt it in the next 5 to 10 years. Adobe, I've been bearish on this for a while, still bearish on this. Now, the interesting thing here is, though, anything lower than here could wrap this up. Same pattern, A, B, C would be ideal to flush it right down in here. In fact, I'm going to set an alert now. If we get down there on Adobe, that might be a good spot to pick some up. It could go lower, but that could be the bottom also, right around 400. It's time to pay attention. TRAW. Reverse split choppiness. CRM. Back to the roadmap line. TECL. Back to... That one might go lower. It's another technology bull. We could see this flush pretty big. See what it did back in August, right? We could see another one of those take us back down into this zone right down here. Come back to 50. If this came back to 50, it might be a good opportunity. This could be a better opportunity than SPXL and UPRO. We might see this go from 50 up here to back to 90. Almost that's like 40% upside or so. Not too, or actually, I guess 80% upside. Doing my numbers from 90, not from 50. NVDU. Be careful. We're below the roadmap line. I'm warning you. SMH. Just chopping, consolidating right on top of the roadmap line. If we get below it, watch out for a deeper flush. Carvana, coming back to the roadmap line. ALB, ALAB, ALB, ALAB. Watch for a deeper retrace. Net, watch for a deeper retrace. This is why this flush out might be violent. MDB, support right here. Now, this could catch a bid back test and then get a bigger flush. But right now, this is bearish. And we're probably at least going lower low in the coming weeks, if not immediately. SOXX, this is below the roadmap line. Danger lights should be flashing off. If you're in this at all, we could be easily coming down here. TQQQ, like I said, we may get that bigger flush down into 70. I'm not too worried. I'm going to keep holding my position. I bought time. Snow coming back down to the roadmap line. Sometimes this stuff just works. That'll be, if we get down here and hold, that'll be the opportunity to build a long-term position. I bought my 1 share down here. This will be the time where I'm looking to start building something more bigger, if you will. Now, if we don't hold that, if we break back down through, we could easily go lower low. XLK. Excuse me. Back to the roadmap line. DXYZ. Watch for that to flush all the way back down. DPST. At the roadmap line, if we don't hold, we could go on down here. Google. That hit the targets. Retesting the breakouts. If we can hold it through this correction, it's probably ramp on up higher. 206, maybe even up to 225 area. Up there. UPRO, talked about that a couple times already. Apple, we started here. This is played out right now. Back to a retest of the breakouts would be expected. Very expected before we ramped higher. And if we break down below this, possible to come on down lower. QLD, roadmap line, Ultra, that's like a TQQQ type thing. JP Morgan, roadmap line, Google, already talked about it, roadmap line, although it's already testing the breakout, so be careful. This could flush on back down to the roadmap line very quickly and easily. Right back down in this zone. VST, back to the roadmap line. Dash, back to the roadmap line. NVDO. Watch for that to break down below the roadmap line and we may get a bigger flush. QQQM, back to the roadmap line. USD, roadmap line support. Watch out if we get below it. We could go down. It'd be pretty gnarly to see a big liquidation event like that. Amazon. Watch for the retrace. We scraped the target. That was a long-term target. For years, I had that target up there. We didn't quite hit the ideal at 240. Watch for the retrace. I've had this on here for a couple months now. Watch for this retrace. Watch for this retrace. Watch for this retrace. NVIDIA. Watch for this retrace. If this breaks below the daily roadmap line, watch out below. ANET, roadmap line, CEG. We're at the roadmap line, but this may extend. First move down, retrace. Could come on down to this 200 area. UDOW. If we can hold here and turn, 120 on the upside, but watch for a deeper breakdown back down the 70, 80 area. PANW. Finally giving it up. Back to the roadmap line. Made pretty good money on that one, riding it from 300 to 400. MRVO. Roadmap line. Could retest the breakouts somewhere in that zone. Watch out for the retrace. TSR. Yeah, these are all declining so this morning, so TSLR, This may, if Tesla's going to do that a little bit deeper, we may see that. VRT may come on down to the roadmap line. DDOG may come on down to the roadmap line. ARM. Watch for the bigger, deeper flush out here. We're below the roadmap line. Caution, caution, caution. This can easily flush back down, fill the gap. If not, go even lower, low. This is kind of what I'm expecting on Reddit here. Be careful. ARQQ. Another quantum. These have got these reverse splits in here. Be careful. That's danger. PLTR, already mentioned, can come back to the roadmap line very quickly and very easily. Look what we did in August. Violent retrace and then a massive pop. It wouldn't even retest that retrace just to come back to the roadmap line. Be careful. Chasing PLTR, CRDO. Watch for that to retrace the roadmap line. TLSLT. Watch for that to come back down a little lower, possibly down to 33. Connell, already talked about. AVL. Watch for that to come back down to this zone. This is leverage on AVGO. We may see it flush back down to 26. SPY. U. Leverage. 4x leverage. Holy bananas. I might buy some of this just for giggles. 4x leverage. Holy. Now, 4x is going to, we get that flush. This could definitely outperform. Let's see got my attention. Yeah, 4%, so where'd that thing go? Would expect that to get a bigger retrace right there. Move. If we come down to the roadmap line on this SPX, probably something down around 39. And then I don't know. Back up here, let's see. From there, back up here, 5%. That'd be like 12%. Go back down. What was it? SPYU. So 48% upside. Ha! Right in line. Look at that. Beautiful. So 58 would be the target. AMAT 144. Probably where we're heading. Right down here in this box. Kava. Watch for this to break down. If we don't hold that area right there, this can flush pretty big. SMCX. Watch for that to go down. 2x leverage on SMCI. Let's check in on SMCI. And looks like we're going to go lower low. Somewhere down around 15. AVGX. 2x long on AVGO. Can come back down, fill the gap. BitX. Probably going for the roadmap line. I stepped off of BitX. Probably step back on right down in here. Surprised I don't have alerts. Thought I did. Put the alert right there. And something else right there. MagX. Man, there's a bunch of these. Magnificent 7 ETF. Look at this thing. 2x leverage on. If you want to play all the Mag 7 right here you go. 2x leverage. Probably coming back down. That might be a buying opportunity right there. If it does that. What's the Mag 7? That's Mama Nat. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Apple, Nvidia, Alphabet, Google, and Tesla. 7. I remember it, Mama Nat. Why not? G for Google. It's Alphabet's the name of the company. So Dell, that looks like we rejected, and we're gonna go lower low, below the roadmap line. Caution is advised. SSO. See, that's the pattern I was talking about playing on SPY right here. Like even if SPX, SPYU, all those things, even if we just rally up and stop right at the 618, you can make pretty good money riding just that piece right there. And then whether it does this or we get the continuation up to the target, doesn't matter. You can make pretty good money right here on this piece. But you got to be prepared for it. You got to be expecting it. And then you got to know where you're wrong. Like if it rejects, this is why this was such a key on Dell right here. If it rejected and broke lower, that was all over. So that'll be a key on SPY when it, or SPX when it finally bottoms out and turns. So we're waiting for this bottoming out on SPX is kind of the bottom line. SSO, probably going to retrace. LABU, that looks like it's flushing down. Maybe finally gets the extension down to 35. BitU, good grief, there's so many. Coming back to the roadmap line. Leverage Bitcoin, nail. Ooh, uh-oh. Breaking down here, can take it on down in the 40s. COHR. Back to the roadmap line and watch for support. Oracle. Back to the roadmap line, watch for support. If we don't hold that, could be back in the 140s. QCOM. Oh, look at that. Almost to the zone. Waiting on that at this point. One flush, and then we can get going bullish. TSM. Now, if it doesn't hold that, it could also do bearish. So be careful. TSM. Watch for the retrace to the roadmap line. Shopify. May come back to the roadmap line or come retest the breakouts. And that may be the same thing by the time it gets there. So we may have a date with testing this right there. Rejected off of that box. That box, where does it come from? Comes from these highs. There was a gap down. We got up to it, and rejecting back would be normal. If we do this and hold at that roadmap line and that breakout, Shopify is probably going to be a fair investment for possibly a triple on shares. Could easily go from that $90 area to $300 area. Might take a little while. And that move took a year and a half. This could take a year and a half or 2 years. But if you're riding shares, 3x your money, not a bad deal, all right? Not a bad deal. PLTU, another 2x leverage on PLTR, PLTY, yield max. Just be careful. Be careful playing these leverage things. And DDM, Ultra Dow. Oh, this looks like it's going to go lower. Probably somewhere down here. And that's the list. I don't really have anything bonus-wise today. Yes, it's already 30 points more down. Be careful out there. We're setting up for the flush, baby. And we may see a bounce somewhere in here. Keeps pulling the bounce level down. If we bounce now, 60.35 on ES. If we keep flushing it, this will keep pulling it down. So that'll be the thing to watch. When we get down here, then where do we bounce to? If we just flush it from here right down to the roadmap line now, well, don't say I didn't warn you. All right. Have a great day. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. 9:15 tomorrow morning. Have a great day out there. I'll be in Discord if you got other questions, other things to talk about. Be safe. Your account, the account you save may be your own, all right?